Kinesiology is non-diagnostic, non-invasive holistic therapy, and it works on improving your health, your well-being, and your vitality. It's based on traditional Chinese medicine, and we also use acupressure points, and we bring in a bit of Tibetan energy medicine, but not tonight. So most of you will probably know that you have 12 meridians in your body. So you can see, I don't know if the light is big enough. Well, they're all based on an organ. So if you look at the middle, you can see they're based on the stomach, the spleen, large intestine, liver, large intestine, and all those colours obtained. So it's like a river of meridians around your body. So they're each individual, but also they're connected. So you can imagine that if it's one big river of energy, if you imagine it like water, like a stream, it flows and flows and flows, and then something will happen, a life experience, an emotional response, a physical injury, either in your control or out of your control emotionally, and it's like a tree coming down and blocking the river, and then all the twigs and the leaves and all the crap stops that flow or reduces that flow of energy, or prana or chi. So behind the tree, the water is very slow, so your energy is under energized. It's building up. So it's like all this energy got nowhere to go. And the other side of the tree, it's like there's nothing's feeding it. So that's under energized. And the job of the kinesiologist is to remove that blockage in various ways in order to get the flow back. I'm rushing this slightly. Each meridian, your stomach, is about empathy and sympathy, because that's in the earth element. Your liver is in the wood 5 elements, and that's all about anger and resentment. So sometimes where your emotional thing is, that's where that part of the river will be blocked.
Maybe can I ask, is the pancreas on there?
No.
Oh. Okay.
But I don't know, it'd be interesting, that link, because when we talk about the chakras and stuff in the course, that's covered by a chakra. So it'd be interesting to look, because actually the chakras then feed. So if you look at, if your meridian is what travels the energy around your body, the chakra is what translates the universal energy field and sort of tapers it down so it can be read by the body. The little wells it goes in. So if you've got a river, let's say an underground river, you get these little wells, how you access it, and those wells are your acupressure points. So you're going to have that in your chakras as well. So you've got the nadi system, which has thousands of, so I think in acupressure, I was reading it last night, acupressure points or acupuncture points, there was like 3,000 or something, and the nadi system is huge. You think that's fairly complex. The nadi system is, you can't hardly see the body for lines. So it'll be on there, but maybe more as like a sub thing.
Okay.
So in the world of kinesiology or traditional Chinese medicine, you have your meridians. So you have your stomach meridian. How can I make this easy? So your heart meridian, for example, goes from your armpit down your arm and to your finger. So that is then obviously related to the heart organ, but it's also related to a muscle. So you have your meridian, you have your muscle, and you have your organ, and they have that conversation between them. So the job of the kinesiologist is to have a conversation with your body, which we call your biocomputer, so that we can find out where the imbalance lies. And we do this by talking to the muscle that is linked to the organ. So the meridians we have looked at are linked to a specific muscle, use the muscle monitoring, and that helps us identify how we do that. So muscles respond to energy imbalances, and these are reflected within a balance depending on your goal statement. So if you came to me with a physical issue, say June's knee, that balance, that energy blockage in the rivers will show up in one place, because that's the issue, that's where her knee is. But if she came to be with grief or an emotional issue, that blockage will turn up somewhere else. It's not like you have one blockage in your body, you have lots. But it's like, what are we going to deal with? Are we going to deal with your physical issue, June, about striding forward in life and being mobile? Or are we going to deal more with maybe an emotional issue that is with the heart, potentially? So there are various techniques that we use in kinesiology to release these stresses so the body can work at its optimum. As I said, we work on the triangle of health. So you have a physical or psychological, which is your mental, or you have biochemical, which is your what you're influenced by, either what you're ingesting or what is around your body. And that triangle needs to be a balanced triangle, because as soon as, let's say, your emotions go out and say shortens, you can then see the triangle changes, and that will affect your digestion, how you're moving and everything. You're not just one thing, you know, your mind, body and spirit and mental. So, and as vibrational beings, we use sound, we can use colour, we obviously use touch, because it's touch for health. We can use metaphors, visualizations and muscle movement, among other things, to help clear those imbalances. So tonight we're working with colour and visualization. So within touch for health, you have, these are the 5 elements. So you've got fire, you've got earth, you've got water, you've got metal, and you've got earth. And you can see the relationship of that 5 elements, which is the parent relationship, which is the creation. So that fire sort of nurtures earth, earth nurtures metal, metal nurtures water, and water nurtures wood. Or you have the grandparent cycle, which is called the control cycle. So fire controls metal, metal controls wood. I'm doing this in reverse. Wood controls earth, and earth controls water. So when we're moving around our colours, we're using this cycle tonight about the relationship that are between the colours. Now that's a whole subject in itself. So the law of 5 elements, which are those 5 things, you could read a book just on fire element. I won't go into it, but it represents so much of your life and of earth and the relationships. It's a traditional Chinese paradigm, and it represents all aspects of the universe and the natural cycles of the earth. Showing the 2 different cycles interact and work together to help the balance of all things on the universe. What we're doing tonight is helping to resolve relationship conflicts by balancing the negative emotions involved. So although I'm not touching you, because we know that words have power, and because you are identifying it and then sitting with it and thinking about it, like anything, as soon as you notice it, it helps to clear that blockage. Also, the colours that we're using have a vibrational energy that helps to rationalize your emotional approach to the person that we're thinking of tonight. So don't overthink it. Just trust, especially if you're in a room. I know that Charlotte and Nikki have done this with me. Actually, did I do it with you, Nikki? With the big cards, big colour cards. You're looking at the colour.
I think so.
You know, it's just, and again, but tonight I'm not using the cards. I'm asking you to use your imagination. The power of colour is huge. There's a lady who used Touch for Health. She had an autistic child who didn't like to be touched. So obviously you can't use Touch for Health. So she developed a balance just using colour, literally just holding up or ask the child to visualize colour. And the vibration of colour, looking at yellow or looking at blue, is enough to shift that log that's in your prana energy and take it out. So, and we know that colour is vibration. All the people who've done the workshops and stuff, you know, chromotherapy is a whole therapy in itself. We know it's powerful through its wavelengths. So do you have any questions before I start?
Don't think so.
No, okay. Just like doing a meditation or anything, again, it's very important to kinesiology to stay hydrated. We are electrical beings, and that water helps to shift all those balances. So if you have a glass, do take a sip now to help that process, and also afterwards. There is a technique in this, because we're dealing with stress of the person that you pick. If it becomes intense and too uncomfortable and emotionally unmanageable, if you take your 2 fingers and a thumb and you're going to hold it between your eyebrows and your hairline, it's called an ESR technique, which is a whole different technique that will help to kind of bring you back, to help bring your emotions from the back of your head, your emotional part of your brain, to your logical processing part. So if you're there and you're starting to panic, or you're starting to just feel overwhelmed by the emotion, just sit quietly and help your brain just to process it, to bring it forward. And also, if you can have a safe place in your head, whether that be your bed or your garden or by the beach, just bring yourself into that safe space, obviously to feel safe and to calm, and then come back into the process. But that's a very valuable thing that we use for stress a lot. It's called emotional stress release. You might have physical sensations, tingling, warm, cold, bit of butterflies. That's all part of it. When we're working one-to-one, or even in this, we're looking at yawning, we're looking at burping, we're looking at those kind of shifts in the body. I will sometimes do it when I'm working with someone. All of that is that shift, that emotional shift, that blockage that you're holding on is moving. So all of the little sensations you're going to feel are perfectly natural. So you're not going to go as deep as meditation, but I would ask, I'll just take you for a moment because I've been chatting a lot. So I'm just going to mute you actually. So whilst I do that, get yourselves comfy and get yourselves warm. Okay. So that's going to bring you back from your day. So have a lovely yawn if you need to, or a big sigh as you breathe in through your nose. And really breathe out through your mouth. Really letting everything out. Take another deep breath. Blow it out. And just let your body settle into its natural breath. Just observe your body, your lungs doing its thing. The body naturally. So your chest rises and your belly comes out. Your lungs are filled with air. Your body then pauses for a moment. Naturally and slowly, and then release from your body. Body knows there's no rush for the next breath, so it pauses again. And gently in its own time, fill your lungs again. Really connect. Feel your chest rising under your clothes. Feel the back of your ribs expanding on the chair or the bed. Come totally back into yourself, into your body. And as you do that, let go of all the things you've done today and the people you've seen, the work you've done. Just call all parts of that energy, whether it be thought or word or action. Bring them all back to yourself with each breath. With each inhale, inhale them back into your body like little bubbles of air or light. And the thing that stressed you today, let go with the out breath. Just like smoke. Calling parts of yourself back until it's just you. It's just you on the sofa, on the chair, on the bed. Feeling the seat on the back of your thighs and your bottom. Feel your feet on the ground. Your head, your neck, on top of your shoulders, totally present. Or maybe now that you've called your energy back to you, a little tingling around the edge of your body, your etheric double. Become really aware of your energy field. So this exercise is about relieving any stress that you're holding about somebody else. So think of the person in your life that causes you stress, whether it be at work, in your family, in friends. Maybe you don't know them very well. It's someone that you have to pass every day. Not forgetting it can also be yourself. So think of this person and the stress it causes you. And now you're connected to your body. Whereabouts in your body are you feeling this stress? Is it a tension in your jaw? Are you clenching your fists? Is it the back of your neck, top of your shoulders? Is it an anxiety in your gut? Or an ache in your heart? Maybe your thighs are tense. Your toes are tight on the floor. So once you found out where it is, what does it look like? What does the stress look like? Does it have a shape? A weight? Is it like a hard ball? Or it's dark smoke like air? What colour is it? Does it have a texture? Or maybe a smell or a taste? Don't forget you're just observing. You're not attaching to it. You're looking at the stress. Maybe it has a sound. Is it loud and brash? Or an annoying, high-pitched sound? Is it rough or smooth? And I'm going to ask you to grade the stress that you're feeling and score it. So if 1 is a low score and 10 is a high, what grade would you give the stress? Okay. So we're now going to move into the exercise. So I'd like you to think of the person who causes you the stress. And I'd like you to place them in a red room. This person that causes you conflict or anxiety or stress, put them in a red room. And they're going to remain in this room for the duration of this balance. So I'd like you to put yourself inside a white room. If you don't want to be in a room, you can imagine yourself maybe on a mountain surrounded by snow, surrounded by white. Now, whilst you're standing in this white space, I'd like you to think of the person in their red room. I'd like you to ask yourself, does this person control you? Does this person control you? Does the feeling it creates control you? Do you feel controlled by the feeling? Keeping your eyes closed, just check in and assess how you're feeling now. So next, I would like you to place yourself inside a blue room. Or you can imagine standing next to a vast blue ocean, or on top of a hill surrounded by a vast blue sky. Surround yourself by blue. Now, whilst you're standing in your blue space, thinking of the person in their red room, I'd like you to remember a time when you had control over this person. Now assess how you're feeling before we move on. So now I'd like you to place yourself inside a green room. Or you can imagine standing in a forest or a huge field, seeing the green of the trees, all the grass all around you. Look at the vibrancy of the green. So now, whilst you're standing in this green space, thinking of the person in their red room, I'd like you to remember a time when you have supported this person. Remember a time when you have supported this person. Before you leave this green space, just check in how you're feeling now. So now I would like you to place yourself inside the red room with the person. And I'd like you to remember a time when you were in the same position as this person. A time when you balanced this person. Before we leave the red room, just check in with how you're feeling now. So now I'd like you to place yourself inside a yellow room, or you can imagine yourself standing on a huge sandy beach, surrounded by bright, clean yellow sand. So now, as you're standing in this yellow space, thinking of the person in their red room, remember a situation when they supported you. So I'd like you to come back, put yourself in the white room or on top of the mountain surrounded by snow. And I'd like you to check in and see how the stress that this person causes you conflict or the angst that you felt before, to see how it's changed. So think of how you were describing it to yourself at the beginning of this balance. Check in with that part of your body again. What does it look like now? Does it still have the same shape? Does it have the same colour? Is it paler, faded? Does it change from red maybe to pink or to blue? Is it still as heavy as it was before, or has the load lightened? Has it gone from rough to smooth, from sour to sweet? Does it still have the same sound or smell? What does it feel like now? Has it moved to a different part of your body? Are you holding it somewhere else? And when you rated it before on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being low and high being 10 for high stress, what would you rate it at now? And just before I bring you back, we're going to bring a little element of woo into it. And I'd just like you to think of that person and say the Ho'oponopono prayer to them. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And thank you. One more time. Using their name. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And I thank you. And slowly come back to the room when you're ready, becoming aware of the chair you're sitting on, the bed you're lying on, aware of the breath coming into your lungs, and pause, and then the out breath. Cover your eyes before you come back in the room, so you see yourself first of all. Coming back to yourself. Feel the air on your skin, the temperature of the room, your feet on the floor. Going back into your body. Back when you're ready. Remember to drink.